Imagine for a moment an empire so immense, so far-reaching, that the sun was always shining on at least one of its lands. This was not a myth or a legend, but a reality. The Spanish Empire, a global force that changed the course of history. Its territory stretched across continents and oceans, from the rolling hills of Spain to the distant shores of the Americas, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. The phrase, "the sun never sets on the Spanish Empire," was not just poetic. It was a testament to its unprecedented scale and ambition. From the heartland of Castile to the lush jungles of the New World and the remote islands of the Pacific, Spain's reach was unmatched. Its explorers and settlers shaped the destinies of millions, redrawing the world map and leaving a legacy that endures to this day. The Spanish Empire was a bridge between worlds, connecting Europe, the Americas, Africa, and Asia in a vast network of trade, culture, and power. Driven by dreams of gold, the fervor of faith, and the fire of ambition, small bands of adventurers set sail into the unknown. These conquistadors, missionaries, and settlers braved perilous seas and uncharted lands, forging a global superpower from humble beginnings. Their journeys were filled with both hope and hardship, as they encountered new peoples, landscapes, and challenges at every turn. The rise of the Spanish Empire was meteoric, fueled by strategic royal marriages that united powerful dynasties, religious zeal that inspired conquest and conversion, and the discovery of continents rich in silver, gold, and other resources. Monarchs like Charles V and Philip II presided over a realm where politics, religion, and economics intertwined, shaping the fate of nations and peoples. The story of the Spanish Empire is one of visionaries and conquerors, but also of ordinary men and women swept up in waves of change. It is a tale of bravery and brutality, of artistic achievement and social upheaval. From the conquest of the Aztec and Inca empires to the flowering of Spanish art and literature, every chapter is marked by both triumph and tragedy. The legacy of the Spanish Empire is more than just a chapter in history books. It is a living study in the dynamics of power, the complexities of cultural exchange, and the far-reaching consequences of empire building. Languages, religions, foods, and traditions were forever changed, creating a rich tapestry of cultures that still shapes our world today. But how did a relatively small European nation, once divided by internal strife, come to dominate so much of the globe? What unique combination of ambition, innovation, and circumstance propelled Spain to the forefront of world affairs? And what forces, both internal and external, eventually led to its decline? Was it the cost of endless wars, the rise of rival powers, or the resistance of those it sought to rule? The answers are as complex as the empire itself. Join us as we embark on a journey through the epic saga of the Spanish Empire, a story of ambition, conquest, and legacy. This is the tale of an empire that truly aimed to rule the world and whose echoes still resonate across continents and centuries. The origins of the Spanish Empire can be traced back to the rugged landscapes and diverse cultures of the Iberian Peninsula, a region shaped by centuries of conflict, coexistence, and ambition. Here, the seeds of empire were sown in the soil of medieval Spain, where Christian and Muslim kingdoms vied for power and influence. Over hundreds of years, the Reconquista, a relentless campaign waged by Christian kingdoms, sought to reclaim the peninsula from Moorish rule. This epic struggle, marked by fierce battles and shifting alliances, forged a warrior spirit and a sense of destiny among the Spanish people. The pivotal marriage of Isabella of Castile and Ferdinand of Aragon in 1469 united Spain's two most powerful realms. Their union was not just a personal alliance, but a masterstroke of political strategy, laying the foundation for a unified Spanish nation. Together, Isabella and Ferdinand coordinated the final campaigns against the last Moorish strongholds, accelerating the drive to reclaim all of Spain. Their leadership galvanized the nation, inspiring soldiers and citizens alike. In 1492, after a dramatic siege, their armies captured Granada, the last Moorish kingdom, bringing centuries of conflict to a close. This victory unified Spain under Christian rule and freed up resources and energy for new ambitions beyond the peninsula. With their kingdom finally united, the monarchs turned their gaze outward. Eager to expand their influence and wealth, they agreed to sponsor the bold and unconventional plan of an Italian navigator, Christopher Columbus, who dreamed of reaching Asia by sailing west across the uncharted Atlantic. In 1492, Columbus set sail with 3 small ships, embarking on a voyage that would change history. Though he sought a new route to Asia, he instead landed in the Caribbean, revealing to Europe the existence of an entirely new world. This accidental discovery unleashed a tidal wave of exploration, conquest, and colonization. Spanish adventurers driven by dreams of glory and riches soon followed, claiming vast territories and transforming Spain into the world's first true global empire. The year 1492 thus marks not only the birth of modern Spain, but also the dawn of an era of unprecedented global interaction, trade, and cultural exchange. An age that would reshape continents and destinies. With newfound confidence and resources, Spain was poised to dominate this new age of exploration and empire, setting the stage for centuries of influence across the world. The world would never be the same, as the Spanish Empire's rise marked the beginning of a truly interconnected global era. After Columbus's fateful voyage in 1492, waves of Spanish conquistadors surged into the Americas, driven by dreams of unimaginable fortune and everlasting glory. These adventurers, clad in steel and bearing the Spanish flag, saw the New World as a land of endless opportunity, ripe for conquest and riches. Hernán Cortés, perhaps the most famous of them all, toppled the mighty Aztec Empire through a mix of cunning alliances with rival tribes, advanced weaponry, and the devastating impact of European diseases that decimated indigenous populations. His conquest marked a turning point in world history. Not long after, Francisco Pizarro set his sights on the Inca Empire in South America. Using similar tactics, deception, superior arms, and exploiting internal divisions, Pizarro shattered the Inca civilization, capturing its emperor and seizing vast treasures. These conquests were swift, ruthless, and often shockingly brutal. In just a few decades, the Spanish transformed the Americas, redrawing maps and enriching their homeland beyond imagination. The indigenous peoples faced violence, upheaval, and the loss of their ancestral lands. Silver from the legendary mines of Potosi, and gold from the heart of Mexico and Peru poured into Spain. Treasure fleets crossed the Atlantic, making Spain the wealthiest and most powerful nation in Europe, fueling its golden age and ambitions across the globe. The Spanish established grand cities, imposed their language and Catholic faith, and created a rigid social hierarchy. At the top were peninsulares, followed by Creoles, mestizos, indigenous peoples, and enslaved Africans. This new order shaped every aspect of colonial life. This colonial system endured for centuries, deeply influencing Latin America's culture, identity, and politics. It sowed the seeds of both nationhood and future rebellion, as new generations began to challenge Spanish rule and dream of independence. The Spanish Empire's American powerhouse was built on ambition, exploitation, and profound change. Indigenous labor fueled the mines and plantations, while colonial administrators enforced Spanish authority and order. The legacy of this era endures to this day, visible in the architecture, languages, and societies of modern Latin America, a testament to a time of conquest, transformation, and enduring influence. The riches of the Americas fueled Spain's golden century, an era of dazzling art, literature, and power. Cervantes wrote Don Quixote, Velázquez and El Greco painted masterpieces, Spanish drama and philosophy flourished. The Spanish tercios dominated European battlefields, and the navy protected treasure fleets across the oceans. Kings like Philip II ruled from El Escorial, projecting power across continents. Spain saw itself as Catholicism's defender, battling Protestantism and the Ottomans. Spanish culture, language, and fashion set trends across Europe. The empire's reach seemed limitless. The sun truly never set on Spanish dominions. Yet beneath the splendor, cracks were beginning to show. Beneath the Golden Age's glitter, deep problems emerged. The flood of American silver caused massive inflation, undermining Spanish industry and fueling dependence on foreign goods. Wealth flowed out to pay for endless wars and imports, while domestic agriculture and innovation stagnated. The expulsion of skilled Moriscos and rigid social hierarchies further weakened the economy. Governing a vast, far-flung empire became increasingly difficult, with slow communication and rising corruption. Colonial discontent simmered, especially among Creoles excluded from power. The empire's foundations were beginning to crack, even as its glory shone brightest. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 shattered Spain's aura of invincibility and emboldened rivals like England and the Dutch Republic. The Dutch revolt drained Spanish resources and ended with the loss of the wealthy northern Netherlands. Spain's dominance at sea and in Europe was now challenged on all fronts. Costly wars, rising enemies, and lost territories signaled a shift in the balance of power. Spain remained influential, but its undisputed supremacy was over. New powers were rising, eager to claim their place on the world stage. The late 1700s and early 1800s brought chaos. Napoleon's invasion toppled Spain's king and ignited the Peninsular War. With Spain in turmoil, colonial elites in the Americas seized the moment, inspired by revolutionary ideals and the power vacuum. Local juntas formed, and soon, wars of independence erupted across Latin America. Leaders like Simon Bolivar and José de San Martin led campaigns that freed vast territories. By the 1820s, Spain had lost nearly all its American colonies, retaining only a few islands. The loss of the Americas was a catastrophic blow, stripping Spain of wealth and global status. The once mighty empire was now a shadow of itself. The age of Spanish dominance was ending. The loss of the Americas marked Spain's fall from global power to a secondary European nation. Internal turmoil and civil wars plagued the 1800s, weakening Spain further. Only a handful of colonies remained: Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and a few Pacific islands. Independence movements soon swept these territories, culminating in the Spanish-American War of 1898. Defeated by the United States, Spain lost its last major colonies, ending its centuries-long empire. The disaster of '98 forced Spain to confront its diminished status and seek a new identity. Though it retained some African territories, Spain's era as a global empire was over. Its legacy, however, would endure. The Spanish Empire's legacy still shapes our world. Spanish is now the second most spoken native language, linking nations across continents. Catholicism, architecture, music, and cuisine in Latin America and beyond bear Spain's imprint, blended with indigenous and African traditions. Yet, the empire's legacy is complex, marked by conquest, suffering, and the transatlantic slave trade. These injustices left deep scars and continue to influence societies today. Understanding this history is vital for reconciliation and a balanced perspective. The Spanish Empire's story is a lesson in power, ambition, and the enduring consequences of empire. Its echoes remain, in language, culture, and the ongoing debates about its impact.